Like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Adjustment for the City of Guthrie. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Michael O'Neill,
Here.
Catherine Porter,
Here.
Sue DeSharm,
Here.
Vern Ogden.
Here. Do we have any public comments not pertaining to the items on the agenda this evening? There being none, we will move on to the approval of the November 15, 2018 meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Minutes of the November 15, 2018 meeting have been approved. First item on the docket is the discussion and possible action concerning an application submitted from CANC Enterprises LLC. Angela Watson requesting a front yard setback variance for the residential structure at 1402 East Grant, Guthrie, Oklahoma. Would one of you like to address the board? Come to the podium, please.
And thank you.
Would you state your name, your address, and your phone number, please?
My name is Angela Watson. I live at 1713 Kyle Drive, Guthrie, Oklahoma, 73044. My phone number is 405-626-5032.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you want to tell us what you are requesting this evening in the form of a variance and why?
Yes, about a year or and a half ago, we purchased a property located at 1402 East Grant for the purpose of rehabbing it as well as another house that was on the property so that we can work with the city and help to kind of revitalize some of the dilapidated residential areas within the city. And we started working on 1402 East Grant, which had not been habitated in over 30 years. So we found when we started digging in. We found that no one had lived there in that long because there was no water meter, and we were not able to get funding from a lender because pardon me, not the appraisal, the
Mortgage holders?
the survey, thank you, went blank. The survey indicated that the property was sitting 8 feet too far to the west and approximately 10 to 12 feet too far to the south. Well, it's been sitting there for over 30 years in that same spot, but of course, all the issues arose when we were trying to rehab it. And we worked with the city and were able to get the official street closure right there at Poplar. So we have corrected the issue that was on the west. And now we're here to try to get a legal but non-conforming variance for the front because we were told it sits a little too close to the street.
Are there any staff comments or recommendations?
I'd like to say that I drive that way quite a bit, and I've commented to my husband on the house. You've done a wonderful job. It's really an asset to that area.
Thank you.
Leroy Alsop, City Manager. As you indicated, she's made significant progress on the house. In reviewing this, we do not see from the staff standpoint that granting a variance on the front yard setback is going to create any problems for the city in the future as far as the width of the street, those type of things. So staff would recommend that you make a motion to approve a variance to the minimum 25-foot front yard setback requirement to a minimum of 2-foot yard setback standard for the property at 1402 East Grant.
And it is clarified, everything on Poplar side is fine, already been taken care of, correct?
On the Poplar side, the city has taken the action, adopted an ordinance to close, a portion of the street that would not only cover where the structure sets, but give her appropriate side yard setback on the side. Now, it's a two-step process, and CNC or Ms. Watson will have to go to district court for the second step of the process and have that strip vacated. I don't know if you've accomplished that yet or not.
We have not yet.
Okay,
That
but the
was
city part of it has been done.
the authority.
And you are planning to go on with this, as the city manager says, the CANC later, if we're okay here?
Absolutely.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the application as submitted.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried unanimously. The city will grant you a variance as requested.
Did a good job on that.
Oh,
Great
it's
job.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful. You do all that work yourself? Did you do it? You didn't do it either.
A whole team of people helping.
Good.
My family's been in that business for probably 100 years, so I can appreciate what you've gone through.
Very much. I enjoy it, though.
I do too. Supposed to be retired, but I can't get the tools out of my hands. Next item on the agenda is the discussion and possible action concerning an application submitted from Robert and Cindy McAtee. Yes, sir. Requesting a rear yard setback variance for an addition to an existing detached garage on the property at 921 South Harrison Avenue, Guthrie, Oklahoma. Is that address correct? 921 South?
It's east.
East.
It's east.
That was a typo, I apologize. The notice when the paper and out to the adjacent property owners.
Well, I have a question.
Well, can we,
Did,
when do we let the applicant talk to us?
Okay.
If that's okay.
Are representatives of
someone
the
wanna
applicant
come?
here? Please state your name, your address, and your telephone number, please.
Robert McAtee, 921 East Harrison, Guthrie, America, 405-821-4764.
And please describe the variance you are seeking and the reasons therefore.
I was under the misinformed impression that if you had an existing cement pad and you were adding on to a building, that you could do that without a permit. It was explained to me in detail that that was probably not correct.
that was my question.
I didn't realize that we haven't built anything in quite a while. We're trying to build another bay on. We have a part-time job, as all policemen do, that we do HUD homes, maintain them, lawns, buildings, and we're trying to build a place to keep all that separate.
So are you saying you had a pad there before? You had a concrete
Yes.
pad there before?
Yes, sir.
Up to the alley?
Yes, sir. It's been there for as long as we've lived there and before, according to the pictures.
So I guess my question was, I noticed that a building has been started there. Is that, so you?
Yeah, I stopped as soon as I was informed.
Could I ask staff, is that roof line acceptable?
The roof line?
I'm looking at this,
Oh,
okay. I mean, I'm sorry?
According to Mike Zimmerman, I asked him to review the add-ons to make sure that our new ordinances for accessory structures and like I said, they're here.
So it's going to be a flat roof,
It's got a
or is it slanted?
10-degree,
Enough to get
Or
the
a
rain
shed
off?
roof.
Yes, ma'am.
Shed roof.
Shed roof. And we're saying that the overhang does not extend into the
it's
zero lot line?
right on it.
Will it have the same siding that your house has?
The front wheel, we were going to ask you about that. it is my understanding, we were going to put a metal siding up just on that side, one for fire retardant, and the other is we get a lot of damage from people that use that alley a lot, hauling things behind us. When they mow it, they throw things. The material we want to use is similar to the roof, only it's color-coded to the garage. It is powder-coated, it doesn't rust, it doesn't fade. If for some reason it gets dented up, I can just go get another panel and put it back up there. The front will match the garage, and the back will match the garage.
Is that garage lavender? I know it's different than your house.
It's gray. We've talked about that. We don't know why you paint a house beige and a garage gray, but that's the way it was when we got there.
Okay. Okay.
Does not the zero lot line require a 1-hour fire code?
It does, yes.
Okay, so you're prepared to do that if we okay this?
The fire code,
Yeah, you'll obviously, as well as.
they say I need to sheet rock that side.
We have recently tweaked the
said.
deciding the information as to what can be
Yeah.
within the city limits, and it would be necessary, of course, for you to meet those requirements for the appearance and the siding material that you'd use for the home, if this were granted.
I figured the metal would probably add to that, sheet rock on the inside.
I'm not sure what IBC we're operating under, what year right now, but I believe a 1-hour fire code requires 2 layers of sheetrock, does it not? 2 half-inch?
Yeah.
That's fine.
I guess my one other question I would have for you, and I know staff has got some recommendations, is if you're getting damaged by vehicles coming up and down that alley as it is, going to
Not the
well, when I say damage, you're thinking, going to a zero lot line
Well, it's,
doesn't make it any easier.
it's not, I don't get damage from a vehicle. It's when they mow the back and they throw things. That's why there's no windows in the side. I hadn't planned on any. I don't want any. But I figured that the metal would be more resistant than
Well, I
a
think
fiber.
you could address what you could do for the side, for the actual building siding with planning. They would.
Okay.
they-
I didn't
they
know
have that.
who I brought that up to, so,
And do I assume also your doors would be of similar, obviously similar to what you have in your garage at this time?
yes, sir. Now I'm putting a steel door in the back and the other will match the other doors.
And I think Mr. Leroy might have some staff comment.
Does staff have any comments on this one?
Mike is working with the applicant to make sure his building meets the new amended ordinance on accessory structures. In this particular location, metal siding is not allowed, and the applicant has been made aware of that. He's also been made aware of if you do approve to go to a zero lot line, that he will have to have the 1-hour R rating. And Mike has explained to him, our building inspector, what that entails. But as far as the variance that's being requested tonight, to go from a 3-foot rear yard setback on an alley, if you look up and down that alley, it's not an improved or developed alley. It's platted, but it's not improved or developed. And you don't have to look up too far that alley to see that there are some existing properties that, whether it's approved or not, have zero lot lines with buildings going out that far. We have talked to city utilities to make sure it doesn't create a problem as far as maintenance of our water and sewer lines in the area. They did not see a problem with it. So given the circumstance, staff would recommend that you grant the variance and move to approve a variance to the minimum 3-foot rear yard setback requirement on the alley to a 0-foot rear yard setback requirement on the alley for the property at 921 East Harrison Avenue.
And I might ask, normally, when we're asked to do these, we were looking for some extenuating circumstances that would allow us, justify us, whatever you'd want to say, to allow such a variance or such a change. What does staff feel that those extenuating circumstances are? The fact that there's other buildings in the alley that are already there, or what's, I guess I'm wondering a little bit, why we started a structure without getting a permit. And obviously now that's been done, or you can't, you got to get this first to get the permit. What would be the extenuating circumstances
There is not, I can't stand here and tell you there is a true hardship because of the unique lay of the property or the width of the property. But given the fact that there are other properties in the area that have similar circumstances with zero lot lines, we think that it's an appropriate thing to do, but we can't sit here and justify that there's a true hardship to justify this application.
Almost like a grandfather thing here.
The pad was already there. At one time, there was probably a building there, you would think, but as far as a true hardship, no.
Well, and of course, and you mentioned the pad, and of course, I'm sure you can answer this. It's one thing to have the pad there, what about footings? I'm sure that building, planning would want to, you know, it's one thing to have a pad that might be 3.5, 4 inches thick, but were there footings put in to handle a wall later?
I would point out that you're getting into the building inspector's job.
Exactly.
and
But I'm wondering if that also could possibly influence our own thinking here.
I don't think.
Just like to
that's
have,
very far whether-
just like to have everything pretty clearly before us before we make a decision.
My question is, as I look at this, the slant on your roof is going to the back, am I correct? It's off to the side? Is it going towards the alley? Yes, ma'am. Okay.
I take it that the board can rely on your statements that the city has no objection to this?
Correct.
And the utilities will not be a problem? You've already checked that out?
We've checked with water and sewer, and they're okay. They didn't foresee any problems from approving this variance.
Water, sewer, is there any power problems at all?
If you look at the picture, the power lines are overhead, and they're on the other side of the alley.
Okay.
What's that?
What are you looking at?
Looks like a temporary barricade of some kind.
Okay. I was just wondering if maybe that was like a... Yes, please. I thought,
It looks like a telephone box being run over.
It's a telephone box that this man ran over about 1.5 years ago.
Yep.
We can't find anybody at AT&T to come and fix it.
I've got one behind some of our
I
houses.
taped it up, but
Okay.
tucked the lines back in, but they keep telling us to call somebody else.
Well, I guess no one has house phones anyway.
No, that's-
There are no
that's
more
pretty much what they
landlines,
said.
so.
What is that behind your building here? Do you have fencing back there? Is that what we're looking at there?
Yeah, that's my fact.
And that's kept straight with, again, with your
Yes,
zero
sir.
property line?
Yes, sir. It's actually set about this far out.
Well, based on staff recommendations and with the understanding that Mr. McAtee would definitely meet all of the qualifications as per our planning department for, you just heard metal siding is not in the.
Yes, sir.
Not in that area.
That'd be fine.
Meet all of that. Overhang requirements, certainly matching your house structure. This is all part of the new thing, so that it doesn't look like something sore thumb sticking out there. I'm not really great on zero lot lines, but since you have some extenuating circumstances, I'll make the motion that this be accepted.
Thank you.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Well, you just got me out of a lot of trouble.
He got you out of a lot of trouble.
Happy wife, happy life, right?
Is that where her car goes? No,
Into this so we can put her car in regular.
I retract that question. Can't trouble us.
Well, it looks like you had a lot of cars.
Are there any other comments from the commissioners this evening?
Not for me.
I wonder if we might ask our city manager, have we had any luck, sir, on finding another member for us?
I'm not aware of any applicants. We continue to try to recruit somebody. If you all know somebody, we can recruit that.
We've been trying to.
Yes,
There quite a while, and it is important to fill that because in your case, for this board, you have to have 4 votes for every variance. So if you've got 4 people and one has to submit, you can't make any action. So we continue to try to find somebody, a good person,
I didn't know about that 4-vote thing. That's good. Thank you. That's all my comments.
The chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So made.
Mine.
We are adjourned.